Hey everyone, my name's Nathan Pay, and welcome to another episode of Coffee and Crypto. I got a real treat in store for you all today. We have Derek here, which is founder of Web3 Gamer, content creator, streamer. You're also the host of the award shows, and I just got to say it's a real treat having you join us here today, Derek. Thanks so much for making some time.
Dude, it's an honor and pleasure to be here, Nathan. I'm excited.
Right on. Well, from what I heard and what I seen, it was an absolute blast. We had Miles, head of our research team of Blu Ocean Games Guild down there, and I wish I could have went.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, I wanted to ask you kind of just to start, what inspired you to do this, and what really led you to create the first in-person Web3 Game Award Show?
Man, that's such a great question, and I haven't had to answer it in a little while. Really, we just wanted to do something cool for Web3 gaming. I felt like the industry deserved
Mhm.
that recognition. I spent a lot of last year learning about Web3 gaming and diving deep into all these games and projects and following all their progress. And it was like October, and all these like great things were happening, right? Big time, Illuvium, Star Atlas,
Mhm.
the Shrapnel trailer and stuff like that. So it was like, man, like wouldn't it be cool to have an event where we celebrate all the incredible things that are happening in Web3 gaming and acknowledge all the builders? So that was really the inspiration and the goal, just to um, give back to the community and acknowledge the community. So that's what it was for.
Nice, man. Well, I'd say it was definitely more than just that. It was a milestone in this industry.
Yeah.
This is something that people are going to remember for a very, very long time. And even just not only the candidates that were being reviewed, like the amount of projects and the scope of what you guys did with the voting and being able to
Yeah.
pick them, but then also the attendance and all the
Yeah.
individuals that were able to show up and be a part of it. It was definitely something special. What's your favorite part about everything that happened? What did you really enjoy about hosting the awards? Can you give us kind of like some insider information about how it all went behind the scenes? And yeah, what was your impression there?
Yeah, before I answer that, Nathan, thank you. It's a great question, but let me go back to like kind of what you said, just
Please.
about putting it all together, because a lot
Yes.
it was an immense effort. And thank you for the kind words. We the driving factor was like giving the industry the event that we felt it deserved,
Okay.
and it meant a lot to do it in the right way. So you
Hmm.
know a little bit about it because you were on the voting panel, and thank you
Yep.
very much for that.
You're welcome.
So we crowdsourced 45 different people whose
Hmm.
opinions that we highly respected, contributors, gamers, analysts, researchers in the space who really knew the games and knew what they were talking about, to even get the nominations, and
Yep.
then to get the all the votes tallied and everything. So that was important for us to do because we wanted to deliver like the fairest, most
Hmm.
open, transparent, unbiased, or at least like of these people on the voting panel, who come from different backgrounds and different parts of the industry, what their consensus was.
Hmm.
And then of course we had, that was 90% of the final voting, and then we had a 10% that was like the public vote.
Yep.
So that was really, really cool. It was really, really cool. And it meant a lot to, it was, or rather, it was really important to us to like do it in that way. In terms of like, man, the event and everything, and it being a milestone.
Hmm.
So the other part of that is we wanted to do, like, we've been to, I've been to a bunch of conferences, right? I went to
Hmm.
NFT NYC and all these things. And so many of these conferences kind of like let me down because they're just these kind of thrown together panels, and like there's great networking there, but like,
Hmm.
and that's really what people go for, right?
Yep.
So I didn't want to do like I had no interest in doing a conference or anything like that. It was like really cool to have a celebration and like a
Yeah.
party, to bring people together. So it's a little bit more intimate and a bit more relaxed kind of, meeting and greeting and networking and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
that was that piece of it. Man, in terms of like the actual event and behind the scenes, it exceeded my wildest expectations, to be honest,
Awesome.
Nathan. Like, I in the beginning I was like, okay, we can have this really cool event in Miami. I can invite Bryson, and like I knew Kagi was there, and maybe Crypto Stash will come, and we'll get like a couple of the creators, right? And then
Hmm.
like maybe a couple games would come. And we reached out, like Star Atlas was one of the first people that showed interest, and I was like, oh my goodness, we got Star Atlas, like this is great. But then by the end of it, like so many of the top games were
Yep.
there and were excited to be a part of it. Well, like ev.io flew out last minute when they
Hmm.
found out about the event. Gala Games attended last minute. Blankos flew out a few people. And I mean, every top game, right? Undead Blocks,
Yep.
Illuvium, Decentral Games was there, Polygon was there, Immutable was there. Like, it was incredible in terms of the people that attended, and feel very fortunate that it got that kind of success.
Me as well. And I just got to say, like, from my end, where I was kind of a viewer looking in, it felt super polished, man. And like it's not something that you would have expected as the first time being put on. So I just want to give you some serious kudos for that, because I can only imagine, coordinating this and that and all the people and making sure things
Yeah.
are in the right spot and the order and stuff on the screen. Like there's a lot of technical aspects and things that have to be organized. And
Yeah.
it didn't feel like a first time event. It felt more like a polished experience. And I'm sure there might have been some challenges along the way and stuff, but you did a really good job at kind of how that came out and was perceived for us, everyone who wasn't there on the event at the other end. And yeah, see, getting a chance to kind of see who was really there and all the major players, like
Yeah.
it blew me away. And the one other thing I want to mention was kind of about that bias. I really did feel like this was one of the fairest ways to do a voting in the way that you selected the panel, you opened it up to the public. It really felt like it was a legitimate scoring system with the proper games being nominated and then the winner. And that's actually something that with a lot of award shows can be a little difficult to kind of understand.
Mhm.
Well, is there some bias going on? How does that all work? And I was really impressed being on the voting panel myself, getting a chance to just be able to participate in that, seeing the level of organization you had together, staying on my butt to make sure I was reminded when things were due, and it just really blew me away. So it's definitely an honor for us at Blue Ocean Games Guild to be able to be even involved with this event that you had,
Yeah.
hosted. Really glad we're able to send Miles down. He's
That was
still
awesome.
talking about it today. He's still got some of that residual excitement from it. And also just having him give the opportunity to be able to present, the best sports Web3 game was pretty fun. And I'm really wondering now, what's next? Like, what are some of the things that two-part question maybe,
Yeah.
A, is there going to be another one next year? And then B, what are some of the things that you're doing right now or planning on doing maybe leading up to the next one? Or was this kind of like a one big shot event? What are your thoughts with that and what have you been thinking about?
Oh man, such great questions. Well, first, let me say, acknowledge two things. One,
Hmm.
thank you for contributing to the event as a sponsor. Thank you for Miles to come down. It was an honor to have him be a presenter, and that was the
Hmm.
other big piece of the show, Nathan. Like, it was about giving everybody that moment on stage and
Yeah.
incorporating everybody as much as possible. So we had 18 awards. Tried to have probably close to 18 different presenters. I mean, we had a
Hmm.
different presenter for every one. Um, so yeah, I mean, I guess 18 presenters. And then, a bunch of games won, different awards, and we got the trophies. Actually, these are some of the residual trophies that we got to mail out to the winners.
Oh, they look so
Um,
nice.
and yeah, so it was really cool for people like Miles to contribute to the event
Hmm.
and partake in it. And that's totally the goal. It's about elevating everyone and giving everyone that opportunity. And just on the voting thing, I thank you again
Hmm.
for the kind words. We still have yet to publish like the public stuff, to be honest. I'm still a little like I'm just now like this week and like half of last week kind of like getting back like my legs underneath me and kind of
Hmm.
getting over the hangover of the event because it was a 3-month sprint
Yeah.
and it was like I'm not gonna say it was all me, but it was like mostly me, man. Like
Hmm.
I had an assistant, and then like the production was outsourced to
Okay.
like my friend who has a production company. But like you said, yeah, all the messages, all the design, all that stuff, a lot of late nights. It was a labor of love. Um,
Hmm.
but it was so much. But I definitely want to publish the voting, all the voting data, like the raw data, like
Okay.
even the stuff that you had submitted in like Google Sheets and everything. Like I'm
Yep.
gonna publish that and just take your name off of it so people can see
Oh, that's awesome.
the raw data because it should be auditable like the blockchain is. And
Yes.
hopefully in the future, if we do it, we can do some type of like on-chain voting so it's even immutable from that side of things. But yeah, the integrity of the event was really important to me, and
Hmm.
I don't think people on the outside really know how much went into it. You have a glimpse of it because you were a part of it, but that's one the other reason why we want to publish those results. In terms of moving forward for next year, so
Hmm.
I would love to host it again. I would like to shoot for it. Um, we spent a lot of money on the event, and
Hmm.
we only raised, you know, maybe let's see, probably 25% of
Okay.
the cost. So we took a pretty big hit there. We knew we were going to lose money. We
Hmm.
didn't set out to make money from the event. We set out to do something great for the space. But we're not a charity, so we can't continue to always do that.
Yeah.
Now having had the first event under our belt and established that, and also having more time to plan the event, hopefully we
Hmm.
can generate, you know, enough in sponsorships and people wanting to be a part of it. We've got the video being edited right now. I think we're probably like
Nice.
60-70% of the way through, and it looks really good. I'm so excited.
Sweet.
um so hopefully that'll go a long way. And yeah, I mean, if we can like fund the operation next year, or you know, maybe take like a very small loss on the event, we'll definitely do it. In terms of like how I'm thinking about maybe changing the event a little bit, I mean, I
Okay.
think that there's still there's always room for improvement. I think
Hmm.
the voting process was really cool, and I'm proud of it. Uh, and it was probably the best job that I could possibly do. But if I'm honest with you, Nathan, like being critical or just kind of like
Hmm.
taking myself out of it, I'm proud of it. And you know, I think it was important to get that first year in, but like 2022 was, you know, a building year, right?
Yes.
So
Good
I feel
point.
like a lot of the winners, or a lot of the voting process kind of ended up being a little bit of um, a popularity contest.
For
Like
sure. Hmm.
which any kind of voting and any kind of thing like that, I think is, you know, going to have an aspect to that. But like there's a few things that, you know, even like the winners are like wait, what? So like Illuvium, for example,
Hmm.
Illuvium won best lore, and like
Yep.
Andrew on stage was like, our lore is not even out yet. and I was just listening to Kieran on Bryson stream
Hmm.
last night, and he referenced it. He's like, yeah, we won best lore, but like our lore is not out yet. But like, I think that a lot of the people that voted, not only on the panel, but like public voting, probably, I mean, I think if they know Illuvium, they know that it's kind of based on Pokemon, and it has that aspect to it. Also, like from their story, you know, you've got the woman Arlen who is like crash landed on this planet, and she has to like, you know, search the planet to get these resources to fix the ship. So like, there's
Hmm.
lore there. So I know, like, to me, it makes sense why people voted for Illuvium for best game lore, but also I think it's kind of that popularity of like, well, do they actually have the best lore of all the games of all of 2022? Maybe, maybe not. But like, do people think that they do? Or is that like the most popular one that people know of? That's probably more the case. So there's like things like that where I'd like to
Hmm.
try and tweak the process to be less of a popularity or so that that doesn't have so much of an impact. we're getting very, very in the weeds. But the last thing that I'll
For
say
sure.
to like answer your question, I
Mhm.
think that again, I'm kind of like I'm not anti-conference, but I'm just like I'm pro value. So like if
Okay.
I go to a conference and like I listen to a panel, I want the panel to like really drive value, not just like have six people who just like get their like little sound bites in, you know?
Mhm.
So some of the events that I've been to that have been like the best experiences have been like these more intimate kind of mastermind conferences where, you know, this is an idea that I've got. Maybe we
Okay.
like maybe we make it into like a 2-day conference, right? Because, you know, for Miles to fly all the way out to Miami, you know, for a 3-hour event, it's like that's great, but man, like, you know, how can we maximize, you know, the value and the experience? So what if it was like a 2-day event where, you know, the first day was these like this, you know, 6 or 7 hour mastermind where Miles is at a table with, you know, 5 or 6 other people who are there to help solve problems, connect and go deeper with, and you know, talk about what you're working on and what you're thinking about and things like that. I think that would be like really, really valuable, really high impact. Maybe not like, you know, not so much like recorded and like streamed, but like
Mhm.
just for like the people in that room, because it's such a, you know, the people that came, I mean, it was such a high level group of people building
Mhm.
in Web3 gaming. So um, I'd love to try and, you know, deliver more of a valuable experience for those people to like help and connect each other and build those relationships. So that's one thing that I'm thinking of that we
Okay.
could do.
That's I got a couple things I want to touch on there.
Yeah, please. Sorry,
For
that was long.
that was fantastic. So first you were kind of talking about like during the building phase, and yeah, we're in an interesting spot because a lot of these games aren't even really fully out yet, or
Yeah.
some people, it was even as a voter, it was kind of like, do I vote on what's a viable product today that I can go touch and experience, or do I vote on what they're promising? And
Right.
there was kind of this in between of like trying to find a balance, even for me on the panel, of, well, is a trailer good enough for criteria for me
Right.
to think about what that's going to fill? And I feel
Mhm.
like as this industry evolves, even in the next year or two, it's going to be more about the experience playing the game, you know.
Mhm.
And I think kind of naturally, as maybe the industry evolves, there won't be so many like projects in the middle of being built, you know, and we maybe not won't have that kind of popularity contest a little bit. So
Yeah.
I'm almost kind of curious to see, but I also assume that I think that'll just naturally solve itself kind of as it
Right.
goes.
Right.
And there's just so many games being built because it's kind of like that gold rush happened back last year during the bull run. All these projects came out of what felt like nowhere, you
Yeah.
know, and then now everyone's kind of just building and putting it together. So also the second thing I wanted to mention was you talked about, you know, adding, having value, and how you really wanted to create this event as a networking
Mhm.
opportunity, but not just like a normal conference. That was actually one of Miles' biggest compliments. He's like, it was amazing. I was able to talk casually with people, get
Yeah.
to connect. There
Yeah.
wasn't this, you know, it wasn't like your typical conference. That was literally his, what he said
Yeah.
verbatim. And he said that was one of the most enjoyable parts about the experience, because he felt like he could connect casually to people, have these in-depth and sometimes quite complex conversations about the future of play to earn and where things were going. And he felt like that if the venue wasn't in the format that it was, he never would have had that opportunity.
Yeah.
And I think something that a lot of people overlook kind of quickly, or maybe if you've been in this space for more than a year, you're almost kind of used to it. The big difference, in my opinion, between Web3 and Web2 is how much we all benefit from collaborating with each other.
Yeah.
Whereas in traditional business, Web 2, it's competition, right?
Yeah.
So you don't usually want to be working with, you know, someone on the other side of the table. When in Web 3, that's not the case.
Yeah.
So even just giving opportunities for more people to connect was huge for us to be there just for that alone, not even the event and everything else that was going on. So I just want to thank you as well for kind of being able to host that opportunity to get groups together, to get more people chatting, because we know when we're all working together, this space is just going to bloom, you know, and it already is. We're already seeing that. And last thing I want to touch on was, you know, future dates of other events. Of course, we would love for more, you know, to happen, whether it's yearly, bi-yearly, once every 5 years, you know, you can definitely count us to be involved. And yeah, I know that the first year it sounded like you took a hit, but we're happy to sponsor you for any of the other events, man. It was a phenomenal experience, you know, even just to have the opportunity for us to be involved in that way. I appreciate you, you know, approaching me with that opportunity. But yeah, I'm sure you spending all the money that you did can make it a little hard to budget, you know, or planning for the other years. So you're a bit of a legend for doing what you did, man, to help this space and help this community out, especially from your own pocket. So, you know, big claps for that. But I definitely hope maybe you can figure out ways to lighten that blow kind of
Yeah.
as you go down the road. And then I'll segue kind of into my next question, because I've noticed you've been pretty active lately in your community and really kind of building that side of things lately. It's really nice to see. I also noticed you're hosting game nights once a week. So can you maybe tell us a little bit more about that, what the inspiration was behind it, and just everything that it entails?
Yeah. Again, thank you for the kind words.
You're welcome.
I mean, the thing is like this, you're 100% right, Nathan. The Web3 gaming is such an incredible space. It's
Hmm.
been such a beautiful space to be a part of, between the support, the love, the collaboration. We're all kind of in it together and benefit from helping each other. So that's what the event was about.
Hmm.
um we just wanted to create a space where magic could happen, and because like we you know, like you're hearing your kind words is like reminding me of that. um so yeah, that's what it was about. In terms of like the Web3 gamer community and what I'm up to now, I mean, again, it's all just about kind of pushing Web3 gaming forward for
Hmm.
all of us. Because gaming is fun, and it's and we believe in these projects that are being built, and this space that we're building in.
Hmm.
So I just saw a need for well, oh, let me say this. That's what I wanted to say. Um, I appreciate you giving me kudos, but like I would have never found you guys had you not been putting out great content, right? So like you guys totally deserve to be a part of it, and that's why I wanted to reach out to you guys, because you guys are doing really great stuff in this space as well. I was so
Thank you.
impressed when I jumped in your Discord and saw all the research reports and everything that you guys got going on, and I feel like you guys are for some reason like in a like distant little corner, like, but you're doing such great work, and I'm like, does not more people not know about this, or like paying attention, because these guys are crushing it over here. So
Thank you for
and,
that.
but that's what, again, the event was about. That's what, Web3 gamer is about.
Mhm.
Where we support everybody and everything. So Web3 Gamer started off as like the podcast and the show, just
Yep.
really kind of covering, what was happening in Web3 Gamer. Are you familiar with the Bankless podcast?
Yes.
So I kind of want to be the Bankless podcast of Web3 Gaming,
Okay.
where we just, it's news, and we
Mhm.
talk to smart people, and we're all trying to like figure this out together in a way of like, hey, is P to E dead? Like, can it work? Like, what's going on? What are these different tokenomic models? What are these different, NFT models? What are these different
Mhm.
game models and game loops? And what does it take to build a sustainable game economy in Web3? What does that mean? All this stuff. So that's like my curiosity, and that's
Okay.
what's driving, me as a content creator, covering Web3, and that's really what Web3 gamer is about. But on the other side,
Awesome.
it's like, hey, we're also gamers, and the whole point,
Mhm.
everyone talks about like, marketing and, mass adoption, and like daily active users, and how do you onboard users and all this stuff, and like, I don't know, I feel like everyone's talking and it's like, well, what can I do to like do something and do stuff? And
Mhm.
we're lucky because, we had a lot of traction and growth from the Gamers Choice Awards, that it's like, okay, cool, we've got this little community now. Why don't we, what would be something fun to do with the community? And it's like, we should be doing game night. Too many, in my opinion,
Mhm.
too many streamers, and I'm guilty of this too, because I was this is what I did for, 8 months. It's like you hop on stream and you play your game and, you interact with your chat. And it's like, man, like we should be gaming together. Like we,
Good
we should
point.
be we should be engaging with the community and like doing all this stuff together. So that was the idea behind community game night. It's like, why don't we come together? What can I do with my community that is fun and offers value? It's always about offering value, because like, why should anyone pay attention to me or what I'm doing? So we do giveaways, we do cash giveaways. We're doing $100 tonight. Last
Nice.
week we did $100, but also with our game partner, they threw in $300 in bounties.
Oh,
So,
sweet.
we distribute all this on chain. It's verifiable. Like that's the other thing with like giveaways and stuff. Like everyone advertises giveaways, but I never see like, it's like who won? Like who are the people that won? And like, did they win? And it's like, when we do our giveaways, it's on chain, and I'm like, hey guys, like if you can tweet this out, like that'd be great. So yeah, we're
There's
just
a
trying to do something.
transaction hash for a reason there when you can prove it.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause like when I enter giveaways and stuff like that, I'm like, is anyone actually winning this? So yeah, we're just doing fun stuff for hopefully the space and at least my little community.
Awesome. Well, thanks for your kind words there about, what we're doing. And that's kind of the same sense we have right now. We feel like we're building,
Yeah.
and we're really kind of focused on adding as much value as we can. So where traditional projects are focused on numbers and how many users, we decided to go different route. We said, let's do the work first,
Mm,
build it all, and then we actually have value that we can provide to people as we
yep.
grow, rather than in the opposite way, which is what we see a lot of projects doing. Here's
Yeah.
the idea, now let's bring everyone in for the hype and make them wait.
Here's what we're
And
gonna do: mint our NFT on Monday, and we're
right,
gonna
so
give
we're
you all
like,
this value.
yeah. So we wanted to do it a little different. We said, let's
Yeah.
put all the work in now. We have the structure and the ecosystem built. And really, what we're trying to do is position ourselves essentially as the IGN of Web3. We want to be reviewing and rating and grading all of these games so that people can come in, read a report, get a confidence score, and not have to spend the 10 hours of research. So I'm glad that you found that and thought it was interesting. But I mean, to even just to be able to sit around and talk about Web3, it's what we do for a living. It's what
Yeah.
our research team does. And I do think more of that needs to happen. Same thing. I'm hearing a lot of the same topics. Everything's about onboarding,
Yeah.
accessibility, things like that. And it's like, there's way more complex topics we should be talking about. Like, does the two token system work? Are we going
Yeah.
through what breeding, did to, Pegasus and these other games? Or are these sustainable models?
Yeah.
How does people's exit liquidity matter when there's new players have to constantly come in just to provide exit liquidity? Like, are
Yeah.
these games going to have to just keep growing constantly? There's so many more complicated and layered questions that I'd love to see tackled in this
Yes.
space that are kind of being breezed over a
Yep.
little bit. And I think the more that we can collaborate, the more communities, the more smart people get together, things like this are going to get figured out.
Yeah.
So I think what you're doing with the community and all, and just keeping that alive and going and growing is absolutely amazing. And I just want to thank you for coming on here today and spending a little bit of time to talk to us and, get a sense kind of after the fact, the event. Like I said, it was amazing from my end, and I wasn't
Yeah.
even able to be there. Miles is still talking about it.
Yeah.
So before we jump off here today, Derek, was there anything you'd like to leave any of our viewers with, or maybe wrap up?
Uh, Man, that's a good question. I mean, tell me more. Like, I want to know more about your community and like
Sure.
what you guys are going, because you guys got like a lot of cool stuff going on, and maybe
Hmm.
about your approach. I don't know what kind of time frame you've got, but like,
Oh, we've got a few
kind of
minutes
fun.
here for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right now, the research reports has been kind of our main focus. We actually have 5 full-time people on the research team, where what they're doing is they've literally got a list of 300 different games. They're going through creating these research reports, and then they break them down into key factors like
Yep.
replayability, fun factor, sustainability, tokenomics, community, team. So they're hitting all the major points in these reports. And then there's a confidence score, which
Mhm.
actually Miles was the one who created the rubric for that, out of
Right.
5. Right. So you'll see a grade on these reports, like a certain game might get 4.2 out of 5 or
Yeah.
3.8, and it's judging those different things like sustainability, tokenomics, all those factors that I mentioned. But really, the reason why we did that to begin with especially for us, we noticed researching play to earn projects is quite a task.
Yeah.
The big difference between Web 2 and Web 3, in our opinion, is you have to master the game before you play it in Web 3. Whereas with
Yeah.
Web 2, you can just pick up a controller, learn it as you go. You
Yeah.
can't really do that with Web 3 because there's usually entry barriers. You have to invest a fair bit of money into some of these assets to be even able to get started.
Mhm.
So we see this was a huge barrier to us. It was like, wait,
Yeah.
we have to just spend all this time. Imagine the new player who's just dipping his feet into Web 3,
Yeah.
trying to go down all these rabbit holes. How can we add value? How can we help that process along? And that's what allowed us to create the reports. And then
Mhm.
some of the things that we're working on right now down the road, once we get kind of the reports, like we make sure they stay up to date.
Yep.
They're monitored every month or two, new updates are added in. What we do want to do here, we've got two plans over the next couple of years. We are going to do an NFT launch probably within the next 6 months to a year. There's going to
Nice.
be a couple key things that helps add value to. One, you're going to have access to all these reports, kind of like a lifetime membership. But
Mm.
two, you're also going to be able to be an angel investor in play to earn projects through our company.
Mhm.
So similar to like Xborg, kind of how they do that, it gives individual peoples in our community the opportunity to get into seed or private round investing with these play to earn projects.
Smart.
And then what we want to do eventually down the road, and we're a little iffy on whether or not we want the token, because we don't want it to just extract value. We want it to be a multi-purpose thing if we do. So
Yeah.
like the token, if we do launch it, wouldn't just be on chain. It could be used for merchandise purchases, credits in our community, all kinds of different things, but also allow people to vote for what projects we invest in as a community.
Mhm.
So that's kind of our long-term plan, get the NFT launch out, have people get access to all these reports in their fully robust way, and then eventually be able to invest and support these different play to earn projects through our community. So
Mhm.
that's really kind of our long-term vision right now. And we're really fortunate because yes, we're a game guild, but we aren't dependent on the earnings of games in order to be sustainable as a company.
Yeah.
So when we created this model, we're thinking 5, 10 years ahead right now. We're not
Yeah.
just thinking, how can we extract the most money out of Axie Infinity right now? Because that's where people are making money. Now,
Mhm.
yes, we're a business, those things do matter, but we're not dependent on it.
Yeah.
And that makes me really happy as a business, as the founder, because I know we're going to be here for a very long time. And I'm really looking forward to other ways that we're going to figure out how to contribute to this space and, be involved with it. But that was kind of what we decided over this last year. It's like, let's just focus on building. If you build it, they will come.
Yep.
Yes, we can do all the marketing and we can start doing pushes, but let's wait. Let's get all kind of our ducks in a row so that we have so much value we can provide people that it'll be easy to grow at that point. So thanks for kind of asking that question. But that's why we were so excited when you reached out to us to be involved in this, because we're like, oh
Yeah.
my God, this is totally right in our wheelhouse. Like we
Yeah.
are literally researching these titles every single day. And I'm really excited to see where Play to Earn and also Web3 Gamers is, it's just the evolution of this space and really what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
So I hope that answers your question there.
No, it does. It does. Listen, you built it and I came and found it and we,
That's
we
right.
connected. I have so many questions, but like I'd love to have you on my podcast
Yeah,
because
that'd be
I mean
great.
we could talk for quite a while.
I think so
And
too.
yeah, and like I said, I got so many questions, but no, this was awesome. Anything to say to your community? I keep gaming, I guess. Keep
Okay.
gaming. Be careful out there. Listen, not financial advice. These things are tough. Do the research and probably, read your research reports.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, for us, it's like it's just about having fun, gaming, coming together. And maybe we'll have a chance to make it. I don't know. That's what I go to the researchers for. So
That's right. Well, thanks so much for joining us today, Derek. It's been a real pleasure to have you on and just go through these questions, talk about the space. And yeah, I'd absolutely love an opportunity to come onto your podcast, or maybe we can have a follow-up coffee and crypto here down the road.
yeah.
I could definitely know that we're going to be front and center in this industry for the next little while. So thanks so much for everyone joining us today. I hope you enjoyed the episode. As always, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date with all the great play to earn content we have coming out for you all on a consistent basis. And until next time, cheers. Don't forget about our 1,000 subscriber giveaway where you can win $200. And if you need more information, be sure to join us on our Discord. See you there.